Hey, Justin,
What?
you want to play some Wizards and Warriors?
Sure, why not?
I'm Rob McCallum, director of the NES Club, and you're listening to Two Dudes and an NES.
Okay.
Did you love my enthusiasm
Yeah, that
there?
was nice. Did you love the fact that I decided not to do a welcome intro?
I did.
All right. And we're the two dudes. We're two dudes and a NES. We play Nintendo games, and today we're playing Wizards and Warriors. Classic.
Wizards and Warriors.
Not the CBS TV show Wizards and Warriors. All
Was that related? I never watched the show. Was that even related to the video game?
I don't think it was.
Alright.
Yeah. I think I
It's weird. Like, the fantasy television shows have changed. Like, now there's some fantasy television change, but they're somewhat, it's like zombies and vampires. Back then, it was like Xena the Warrior Princess and Wizards and Warriors and Conan the Barbarian.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this could be a tie-in game. I don't know. Was there a Kuros character in the CBS
I don't
show?
know. I don't know. Like I said, I never watched it. I don't think it was out very long.
Yeah, it looked pretty sweet
Of course,
if you
I say
ask
that.
me.
I say that, but I'll probably look it up here, and it'd be like it was out for 10 years. One of the most famous shows ever made. Jeff Conaway was in it.
Yeah.
No Kuros. Prince. He was the main character, and he was Prince Eric Greystone, a protagonist.
So welcome everybody to the
Yeah,
classic CBS TV show.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Let's Justin, here comes your segment.
Are you ready? Because it's time for Justin's historical tidbits and trivia.
All right. Wizards and Warriors history. So Wizards and Warriors was created by a company that was actually very famous in video games, and that's Rare. Rare, it was one of their first games. It wasn't the first game that they came out with for the Nintendo. Their first game was a game we'll probably talk about one day, Slalom. But Rare obviously went on to become a very famous company that created games like Donkey Kong Country. But it was actually published not by Rare, but by Acclaim. The video game company Acclaim was that one that actually released it to North America in 1987, December. So the game is centered around a guy named Kuros, not to be confused with Kuru, the neurological disease that you can catch by traveling to New Guinea.
I'd say it's mostly the same.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was later released in Europe in 1990, so there's a little slowdown there. And that's one thing we need to talk about one day on the show. Why, Japan obviously got the games first.
Right.
North America usually got them second. And then Europe was always, much
I
later.
don't know.
Did it take a while for the Nintendo to catch on in Europe?
Well,
I
in
don't
Europe, if I recall, Sega was more of a powerhouse in Europe. Like, people liked the Master System and the Mega Drive, so the Nintendo probably wasn't that focused in Europe.
know. Oh, okay.
And there's
Okay.
also the whole translating to that crazy British English.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't. It's completely different language. So Wizard and Warriors was reviewed by the Nintendo Fan Club News, which was the precursor to Nintendo Power. And it was also featured again in Nintendo Power's November-December 1989 issue. So it's 2 years after the release, it was featured again. very popular game. 1989, it was nominated by the magazine for Best Graphics and Sound and Best Character for the Nintendo Power Award 1988, but did not win in either category. I wonder who won.
I don't know.
Kuros sounds like a good character.
He's a
who
pretty
would
sweet
beat out
character.
Kuros?
He's just basically a knight, but
Yeah.
the cover's a little misleading. That's something that kind of bugged me as a kid because I was expecting this like Conan the Barbarian style guy.
Yeah,
And then I turned the
exactly,
game
yeah.
on, he's just like your generic knight, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
So, it was reviewed by other magazines. Like I said, it was covered very, very widely because it was for its popularity. And anyway, it gets a lot of scant coverage from modern video game websites, mainly because I guess when you think about old school Nintendo, we talk about a lot of the games that we've already talked about. The Super Mario Brothers, Pac-Man, Tetris, the more famous ones. But Wizards and Warriors was actually a very famous, very popular game. And IGN actually listed Wizards and Warriors at number 56 of its top 100 NES games list.
middle of the road.
Yeah. Actually, though, if you think about it, number 56 out of, 700
That's
games?
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, also, columnist and comedy writer Sean Baby humorously criticized the game for items that did not work as intended, including the Cloak of Darkness and the Boots of Lava Walk, which we'll talk about that, I guess, when we talk about gameplay. So, yeah, and also we talked about Rare. This is, Rare was a company made in 1982. This was their second game, and trying out on the Nintendo, which they eventually, it led to so much success that Nintendo actually kind of gave them like a contract to do games on Nintendo, and
another thing
pretty much
about
it.
Rare, I guess they kind of got to work around that release more than 5 games a year as a developer because they developed a bunch of games and then had other people publish them. So Acclaim published some and somebody else published some, so they were able to release more than that 5 game a year restriction that Nintendo placed. And also if the game came out in 1987, it was probably among the first non-Nintendo released games because Nintendo kind of held on to all the games when it first came out. Most games in the first couple years were all Nintendo, developed by Nintendo. So that's pretty. It's quite the. The game itself it's quite the game for having been one of the first among the first non-Nintendo releases. I feel like.
Right, and also a little tidbit. This is not actually about this game, but the next game, the sequel, Iron Sword. It earned a place in history books for being the only video game ever released featuring romance novel cover model Fabio on the box art. Yeah. Gotta enjoy that. Fabio getting the video game box art. So, yeah. So the also Acclaim, Acclaim who published the game went on and was a very successful company as well. They came out with NBA Jam, a ton of other games.
Yeah.
So.
And now, Michael's quest to find the cart.
Well, this game is actually, if you listen to last episode, this game was donated to us by William Culver from the Arcade USA and ColecoVisions podcast. So, yes, I was able to find the cart because it was mailed to my door by William. So thank you, William. I had a lot of fun playing it, and it's sitting on the shelf in my collection now, and I'll definitely play it again. This is a game that I probably would have seeked out eventually by myself, but glad to have it, and thanks again. So let's talk about the game. Let's just talk about the game.
All right.
Two dudes in an NES present the game discussion.
The first thing I noticed, and this is the weirdest thing, one of the weirdest things to me, okay? I know most games start off with, when you hit start and you start the game, it either gives you a story or it'll just start you standing there at the beginning of the level. This game starts you falling out of a treehouse.
Yeah.
So,
which is weird.
yeah, at the beginning of the game, a door opens and your guy falls out of a tree.
And so you're a knight.
Right.
Obviously, knights back then, probably lived very handsomely.
Yeah, you would think he would
And this-
be coming out of a castle or maybe riding in on a horse. No, Kuros,
treehouse.
he lives in a tree, and he decided, well, it's time for me to go save the world from this magician man or wizard guy. I'm going to come out of my treehouse and let's walk through the forest or jump through the forest.
Saving a damsel in distress.
No, a distressed damsel.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference.
Excuse me. I misspoke. Excuse me.
Yeah, at the end of the first level, or at the end of every level, maybe there's looks like an Amazon woman actually, because she's like wearing a bikini or something. She's hanging up from a rope, and you cut the rope down, and it says, "You've saved the distressed damsel."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's several distressed damsels in this game.
right.
He's this magician collects them. It's a collection of damsels.
And I guess the story to the game is this. I don't know if he's called a wizard or a magician or whatever. His name's like Mekalekahai. Yeah.
yeah. It's like a medieval Michael.
Ah, ooh.
Malco.
Yeah. So he's apparently stolen up a bunch of damsels and turned all the creatures in the world to bad guys, including bumblebees, which are just a giant pain in the neck. They're just flying around like boomerangs around your guy.
Yeah. And then also the game. One of the things about the gameplay is the life, but you've also got evil. So it's like it's not just life. It's not good and evil, but you've got life and evil.
Yeah, I think evil only shows up when you get to the bosses. I think it shows up as their life.
Yeah.
And if you never make it to a boss, you're always wondering, what is this? Do I have an evil meter?
Yeah. If I do bad things? Well, I do. Yeah.
Speaking of those bees too, I noticed that his sword swing is like the worst sword swing of any game I've ever played, because it's just he takes it. It's like he holds it close to his chest and just kind of waves it around.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that we'll talk about in another episode. But there's also other swords and weapon use. One that comes to mind is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original game. The weapons use is a little ridiculous, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But so you collect these gems, and this is what I think is funny. And what do you use these gems for? But to bribe the creature who guards the. It's like we're teaching you to bribe.
You got to bribe the Red Knight to get out of your way.
Yeah. Look what I have. This is a bag of magical gems. Yeah.
It always frustrated me whenever I would get like 99 gems, because you need 100 to make the Red Knight move, and I just cannot find that one more gem. I had a lot of trouble with this game as a kid. Like this game was very difficult for me when I was younger, because the whole concept of it just missed me. It went over my head. Like I collect the gems, pay off the knight, move on to the next level, beat the boss, pay the gems. It just, for some reason, I just could not grasp it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I played it and I love this game. Like when I was a kid, I hated it because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But now, playing it now, it's moved way up there on my list of favorite games. It's pretty cool. The only thing about it that I've noticed that's a little different than most NES games, or at least most of the higher tier NES games, is you have unlimited continues. Which is not unusual, but the unlimited continues, you restart almost immediately where you were, even if you just used a life. So it kind of makes it a little easy in a sense.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree.
but and also what makes it easy is when you finally get that dagger and you don't have to use your sword.
Mm-hmm.
Kuros is quite the
What's it called?
He's the master dagger thrower. It's
Yeah.
the dagger of throwing, maybe, or something.
Yeah, it's the dagger of throwing, yeah.
He throws it like a
you
boomerang
get-
and it comes back.
Yeah. Does the enemy throw it back? That's what's it stabbed me. Let me just give this back to you.
You can throw it.
So
You
you-
can throw it and like jump at the perfect time, and it just keeps spinning around Kuros because he never catches it.
Yeah. Also, don't forget the battle axe of Agor, or Agor, however you say that.
Yeah, I didn't make it far enough to
Yeah.
get that in
Yeah.
this playthrough.
Also, one of the things about this game is that I like is the items that you can collect. So I'm a big meat eater, so I like the pork chop you can get.
Yeah, the
The-
leg
the
of
stores will help.
lamb.
Yeah. Maybe it's a mutton.
It
I
could
don't
be
know.
a mutton chop, right?
Yeah, that's what I think they ate back then. But
Yeah, I don't know. We need to refer to CBS for that one, I think. Something else that kind of annoyed me about this game was the noise that it made when you get low on life. It's just continuous and it's just so annoying that I almost
Yeah.
wanted to just go ahead and die because it just was, or mute the TV. It was bad. I can't.
Right.
I'm not going to recreate it here, but it was pretty bad.
Well, yeah, and I think when we're going to talk about gameplay, let's talk about as much the things that, like I kind of alluded to earlier, we're talking about the history, is the things that didn't work. The Cloak of Darkness.
Yeah, it makes you
Supposed-
invisible to the player, but not
But
to the
you die.
enemies, and you
Yeah.
and you can still be hit.
It's actually just something that makes the game hard.
Yeah, it just turns you into like a sparkler.
Yeah. So yeah, Cloak of Darkness.
Yeah, F minus.
Maybe that's what maybe it was supposed to make the game harder. Maybe it was something that the game designers put in to say, we're gonna trick everybody here, make them think this is awesome, and it's not gonna be awesome.
Could be.
Hmm.
Well, and
So-
my favorite, or at least my favorite name, was like the Boots of Force
Yeah. Yeah.
for stomping on
Boots of-
heads.
Yeah. Steel-toed boots. I don't know. Well, you think, if you're a knight, your boots are still anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, you think knights would have just boots of force. That's just part of the knight's gear.
yeah, that's what they always wear, Boots of Force.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another question. I mean, knights are their armor is made of like steel.
Yeah.
Well, Kuros has got some ups. I mean, he can jump pretty
Yeah.
high for wearing all that. It's got to be heavy. He must have some gigantic legs.
Kuros is the athlete.
Yeah. Well, he
it
does.
was this-
He definitely doesn't skip leg day.
No, I mean, if the Olympics were going on, he'd be high jumping easily. He'd be out there in his night gear doing the high jump and acting like it was easy.
Yeah. Of course, he would.
Also, if
go
you're
ahead.
if you're going to talk about boots, let's talk about the boots of Lava Walk too. It doesn't really save you that much. You walk on the lava and you still lose some life. I guess it saves you a little bit.
Not as
but,
much. Yeah, you don't lose as much, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can't really walk
Yeah.
on lava.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of boots that would be.
Well, it couldn't be steel. That would conduct heat, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
okay.
All right.
So graphics wise, I thought it was pretty good, really. I mean,
yeah, it really is pretty good.
it's not the best NES game as far as graphics, but it's nowhere near the worst. It's in the upper portion of NES games, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, the backgrounds
Mhm.
are really good.
Right.
The color, there's a color system of some kind in the game where I never quite understood it, but you can get potions to turn your knight different colors,
Hmm.
and there's different colored keys. I guess they open different colored doors and different colored chests. But the colors are just kind of boring. They're just like baby blue and pink and red.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that
Yeah.
they're doing what they can do.
Well,
They stand
another
out.
thing that I thought about with this game was, is how it's actually labeled like a RPG. It's kind of designed as they talk about it as being an RPG, but it really doesn't play as much like an RPG. It's, still side-scrolling action.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Which is
I
what I
guess,
like
an
about it.
adventure, action-adventure
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. If you talk about RPGs, like, RPGs in terms of like Final Fantasy, which we talked about with Rob a couple weeks ago, there's not a lot of fighting going on. But in this game, completely different. Even though it is an adventure type RPG game, still a lot of action.
Yeah, it's true. The music in this game is amazing. I think it's just
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, it sounds like when you turn the game on, excuse me, like the first thing you hear is like that crazy, sounds like crazy piano music with like orchestrated. It's just
Mm-hmm.
Well, David Wise, I guess, is
David
he
Wise.
was,
Yeah.
he was the house composer for Rare, and he's pretty famous.
Yeah.
I guess he's done a lot of games.
Yeah, he did like pretty much all the Rare games. He did Donkey Kong Country, which, that's a Super Nintendo game. We're Nintendo guys, but I gotta say, so, that there was good music in that game. Some more of his later work, and I'm just looking at his like video game credits. First, he did Slalom, with his Rare's first game.
Did he do Battletoads?
He did not do Battletoads, it appears. No, he did not do Battletoads.
It does sound kind of like a departure from what he normally does.
Yeah. So he didn't. Nope. He did do Battletoads. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
He did Battletoads. Take back your comment of it being.
It does still sound like a departure, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's very funky. Anyways, we'll talk about that on Battletoads.
Yeah. So, great music by one Mr. David Wise.
I mean, it just really sets the mood off right. I mean, it's just you're going to be playing a fantastical adventure, and the first thing you hear when you turn it on is some fantastical fantasy song. They should have got him to compose the CBS special, and then maybe it would have been a better show.
So you know how old he was, David Wise, when he first started composing for Rare?
I don't know, 19.
18.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a young lad. He was 20 years old when Wizards and Warriors came out.
That makes it even more impressive then.
Yeah. So he was only born in 1967. So he's only 47 now. 46. He'll turn 47 this year.
I heard
So, yeah.
I heard he's coming back into composing too. I don't know what he's doing. I think he did. He may have done the new Donkey Kong that came out on Wii U, Tropical Freeze. He may have done that game.
Let's see if he's credited as that. I'm kind of. He is credited. Oh yeah. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Wii U. He did it.
Yeah. So he's still cranking out the good tunes.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played that game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a Wii
Maybe.
U. All I've got's a Nintendo.
Yeah, it's true.
NES.
That's why we do this. That's why we do this podcast.
Yep. The storyline, we kind of talked about the storyline, but I think it's a decent story. It's kind of generic, but it fits.
Mhm.
It works.
Yeah. I like it. It's kind of that, what we were talking about at the top of the show, about the type of fantasy that was going on in the 80s compared to like today's fantasy. And if you look at the type of fantasy, it definitely fits that type of fantasy. It's that medieval Conan the Barbarian, although the gameplay wasn't as much Conan the Barbarian as it was medieval knights. But
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
yeah. That's what the game was actually modeled after, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kuros is actually supposed to be Lancelot.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's. You got a high score this time. The game does keep your score, and then that's the only thing about the continues that changes it up, is when you use a continue, you lose all your points for your high score.
Yeah. Well, I took the brave knight Kuros deep within the forest of Elrond and totaled to 69,000. A little over 69,000.
69,000. Well,
yeah.
Not quite my score. I took Kuros through the forest, down the bottomless pit tree, which, quick side note, I forgot to mention when we were talking about the gameplay, there's actually a little game of Plinko in this. Because if you make it past the first night and you go down the tree, your guy falls and then he has to like fall over these roots, and so you kind of play Plinko with Kuros. But anyways, so I made it through there, and then I made it down into the Big Blue Cave, through the Big Blue Cave. This is all on one continue too, I might add, which may or may not be that big of an accomplishment for most of the listeners out there, but for me, this was pretty good. And then I made it to the bats, and then the bats just killed me over and over and over and over again. But my high score was 101,340.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Maybe one day you can beat me at one of these games. It might be a while.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So neither one of us got to Malkul and capture and was able to save the princess that he held prisoner at Castle Ironspire.
Nope.
So the damsel is still in distress out there. If any of our listeners want to go out there.
No, she's not still in distress. She's still distressed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay. I do plan on beating this game one day. I mean, it may take me a while since each week I have to play this stupid shows game. But,
how dare you.
If only I had some retrofitted trophies.
Did you come up with any trophies?
It would be easy to go. Well, I think I'm just going to go with the high score trophy, and that's called the Tom Arnold Would Be Impressed trophy.
And what score do you have to achieve to get that trophy?
Just whoever got the high score. So I guess you win the Tom Arnold Would Be Impressed trophy.
All right. I get the Tom Arnold Would Be Impressed trophy. Well, I came up with a trophy called Canopy Kuros.
Okay.
And to get the Canopy Kuros trophy, you have to go on top of the trees in the first level and run across the top of the trees.
Okay.
Because that's called the canopy, right? I hope I got that right. I don't really remember my rainforest trivia that well, but
that works.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And then Plinko Master, which is you get all the chests when you're falling down the hole in the tree, because it's kind of hard to do that. So if you can make Kuros do the Plinko just perfectly, where he goes over the roots and gets all the chests, then you get the trophy Plinko Master.
Cool. So we should also do like a trophy for people who don't do what they're supposed to do. Like if you ask them to do something, they don't do it, and it's called the Cloak of Darkness trophy. You're supposed to do this. You didn't do it.
That's not for this game. That's just for our friends and family.
General life. Yeah. General life. Yeah.
You just hand them the Cloak of Darkness trophy, like they don't show up for a podcast or something. John.
Right. Yeah. We're gonna have to bring John on the Two Dudes show one day.
Yeah, we will. He's a big fan of Punch-Out and Super Mario 2. So when we get to one of those two games, we'll bring him on.
It's time for the game rating.
So, Justin, I got a question for you.
Oh, no.
If you were going to give this game a medieval weapon, what medieval weapon would you give it?
Oh, I'm going to have to go with a mace.
That's what I was going to go with. Well, what's your reasoning? What's your reasoning?
Because it's awesome. The mace is an awesome weapon. You can, anything with a ball that has spikes on it, you can just swinging it around.
Okay. Well, I think I got a good reasoning for using mace as well. I think I call it the mace because out of most of the medieval weapons, it's the one that's not going to dull, right? Like you get a sword, over time it's going to be dull, or you get a axe, over time it's going to be dull, but the mace, it'll stand the test of time, which I think this game has also done.
Yeah,
right?
Okay, that's good reasoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Is that our grades? Is that our rating?
yeah, that's it.
So the game gets 2 maces.
He gets 2 maces.
Or 2 mice, whatever you call it. 2 mace? I don't know.
2 mace?
What's the plural of them?
I think it's
Two,
just. Is it mace?
What's the plural of mace? I don't know.
Maybe,
Somebody out there who's a grammar hog needs to let us know.
Yeah, one of you people that has been up in arms about the name of our show can also tell us. You can
what
also.
the plural of mace is.
Yeah, please do.
Now.
Yeah, so 2 maces, 2 mace out of all medieval weapons.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
We did get some feedback also, if I can figure out how to look at it.
So
Wait, here we
might
go.
be able to-
Here we go. Actually, before we do feedback, well, this is kind of feedback. I would like to make note of 2 5-star ratings that we got this past week.
All right.
All right. One of them, which I'm very thankful for because this person said very kind words about our show, is from Fearsome B. They say, best podcast out there so far. 5 stars. It says,
Wow.
I don't
Thank you.
think I will ever find a podcast that will top this one. Keep up the good work. So that's quite the compliment to us, and I appreciate that, Fearsome B.
Yeah.
And then the second iTunes review is from Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey guys, I'm very impressed that you decided to do a podcast about me. Keep up the great work." So
Well, you know.
Tom's never listened to it, so he just assumes it's about him.
Yeah. I like the T-shirt that you put up on Facebook about it last week. You know, you can go on Tom Arnold's store and get a shirt that says, "It could be worse. You could be Tom Arnold" or something like that.
I think we should turn that NES box art logo that I made of Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
We should turn
Yeah.
that into a shirt, and then
It would be awesome.
maybe eventually. I don't know how much shirts cost to get made, but maybe we could do that and make it like a donation thing for our Extra Life.
Yeah.
If people could buy
Yeah.
that shirt. I don't know. We'll see. It may be
Sweet.
way too expensive. Let's
Wait,
see.
does Tom Arnold have a Twitter account? We need to figure that out.
He does.
Like the real Tom Arnold?
We follow him.
Okay.
Which,
We need to start-
we haven't started tweeting at him yet, but
Yeah. We're going to start tweeting at him at some point and try to get him on the show.
maybe we could at least get him to do just like a sound bite, like a 5-second sound bite to send to us. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. All right.
All right, so from the Retro Junkies forum, we have one that says, "I remember this game from when I was a kid. I felt like it was the biggest game that would ever be made. The fact that there were unlimited continues and no clear path through the maze-like levels is something I always enjoyed. I still play it to this day." Then Aaron Hickman says, "I have often wondered why Kuros was never in Killer Instinct games. He would have been fantastic, and this game has some of the best box art and music. This is the best game Acclaim has ever had anything to do with, period." So, he must not be a big fan of Acclaim, or either that or he's a huge fan of this game.
Yeah.
And then Eric Purcell says, "If my memory serves, I definitely enjoyed this game. I also really liked the box art." And Eric's probably going to stop listening to the show if I keep that up, but that's what he gets for saying that his last name is pronounced purr like the cat.
Yeah.
So,
So.
sorry, Eric.
All right. Well, good show today.
Yeah.
You know, just tell everybody, you know, continue to rate us and review us. Pass the word along with your friends if you like the show. If you don't like the show, maybe your friends will like the show. So tell a friend. Check us out. Also, our website. I'll give the web address this time.
I'd appreciate that.
NESdudes.com. We have show notes there, little tidbits about some things, about the game that we don't necessarily talk about on the show. So go check that out. And of course, like us and follow us.
Like
on
us,
Twitter
follow us.
and
Give us
Facebook.
reviews on iTunes. We appreciate them. If you give us a 5-star review, we will say it on the show. If you give us a 1-star, we'll probably say it on the show too. If you write anything, so,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, as long as it's constructive criticism, like, don't just say you suck.
Your guys' show is terrible.
Yeah.
Tell
If you ever have,
Tell us
that's another thing.
why,
If you want to,
please.
throw that on Facebook. If you ever want specific, I guess we kind of always have put that on in feedback. But if you ever have specific questions about a game we're doing, throw it on Facebook. We'll research it. We'll put our crack team of researchers on it, and see if we can figure it out.
Who is that? Me?
I mean, both of us.
We
So-
will get a crack team, and then we'll research it.
Yeah. We're going to assemble a team to answer your question.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
All right.
I guess that pretty much wraps it up.
hey, what is that over there in the corner?
Oh, what, this?
Yeah.
I don't know. It came in the mail the other day. I just hadn't had time to look at it. You want me to check it out?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's see. It says Transdimensional Warp Drive. And it's got a
That's
big
interesting.
red X and a button.
Should you push that button?
I don't know. Okay.
Weird.
Okay. I can push the button. Okay, hang on.
All right.
Let's see. Flip the switch. Push the button. Whoa!
What the? Where are we?
I don't know, man. Do you hear that music though?
Yeah,
It sounds
What is
familiar.
that? I've heard that before. I know. Crap. What is that?
I don't know, but yeah, this place is definitely weird.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna try to figure out where we are.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and end the show now, but we'll let you know. Hopefully,
Yeah,
we'll be
we'll
back
figure
next
this out.
week. I don't know. I think
figure
we're
this
gonna
out.
go over there towards that big giant sphere thingy. Maybe they can help us
Yeah.
out.
All right.
It does have tank treads though, so it kind of scares me.
Hmm.
Anyways, we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get out of this strange world. All right. See y'all.
See it.